I can't read lips and I'm hard of hearing. I'm sorry.
Plug the cable out. There you go. There you go. There you go. Yeah. Yeah.
No, I got it. I can do it here.
Brings back good times when I used to go to concerts.
I unplugged it, Cole, so it won't continue.
Yeah, I know, but I gotta have it plugged back in.
We're gonna have it later. Yeah, see, that reminds me of the '80s when I went to concerts and stuff. Yeah.
On the mic itself, the lack of mic there.
I thought maybe we'd all have to go home.
Wishful thinking.
How loud is it? Sorry.
I'd like to call to order the City Council meeting, November 17th, 2022, 501 Main Street. Could we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Crenshaw,
Here.
Altide,
Here.
Garcia,
Here.
Altmans,
Here.
Hohenthal,
Here.
Andrews, Tillman,
Here.
Bryant,
Here.
Greenwald,
Here.
8 present, 1 absent.
Item number 4, Mayor's Correspondence. On Saturday, the 19th, we have the Festival of Trees at the River City Mall. It's a fundraiser. We have the dueling piano sponsored by Keokuk Chamber of Commerce from 7 to 11 at the KC Hall. The Keokuk High School Band has a music trivia night at L Trains at 7:30 p.m. Great River Players will be holding tryouts for Around the World in 80 Days on November 19th, 20th, and 21st, which is Saturday, Sunday, and Monday from 10 to noon at their 17 South 7th Building. And on Sunday, we have Countdown to Christmas vendors. It's a craft and vendor show at the Labor Temple from 11 to 4. Item number 5, citizens' request. If you have something that you need to speak about, please come to the microphone. Fix it so we can hear you really well. State your name and your address.
Good evening. I'm Teresa Murray. I live at 15 Hilton Road Lane. I'm also president of the Keokuk Saddle Club. I had emailed Pam a letter, and I'm assuming all of you got it. I don't think I need to read the letter, but if anybody has any questions, it's kind of an update of what's going on out there at the Saddle Club. We're building a new arena at Joyce Park. Eventually, we want to build a new building. We do not have the funds at this time, but we're doing a lot of fundraising. I've applied for a lot of grants. I think that's all in the letter. Does anybody have any questions for us? Or do you want me to read the letter? I mean, I don't think it's up to everybody, but we're hopefully going to hold events starting next year, but it's like anything else with construction. We run into snags. So we've ran into a snag recently, but we're still hopeful we're going to start having events. We've got to get a sound system. Everybody knows sound system means everything. So we have to get a sound system installed. That's our main focus right now. And once we get that up, we can hold events because first impressions are everything. So if people can't hear, I don't know if you've been out there, you can drive back there. It's a nice road all the way back there. Go back there, take a look at it. But it's a long stretch of land. And to me, people need to hear from one end to the other. It's about 700 feet long. So we're not going to hold anything till we have a sound system. And the type of sound system we're looking at is like a stadium, not something indoors. We want something like, what is it, Calvert Stadium? And we've talked to a gentleman. It's the same gentleman that they have at, that helps the Great Dam Festival. And he came and looked at our facility at the same time he was down here this summer for the Great Dam Festival. And so he told us exactly what we need. Of course, like anything else, it costs a lot of money. And that's the way the world goes. And so, but that is one thing that we're waiting on. We're going to get that done and before we hold any events. So does anybody have any question? I've been working with Pam on a building, but like I said, we don't have the money right now. I kind of wrote this. We kind of got it started. I explained kind of what we're looking at for a building. We know we've got to do some more things, you know, to get it to where I think it's on the agenda. Are you're taking it off the agenda, Cole? Is that my understanding?
Yeah, what we'll do is when we approve the agenda, we'll remove the request letter from the agenda at that
Okay,
time.
which is
Yep.
fine, because like I say, we're not ready. I had just spoke with Pam and we just kind of, I don't know if we got the cart before the horse a little bit or whatever, but I just wanted to, I felt like, I know I haven't been to you guys. There's a lot of new council members since we signed the lease, because we signed it 5 years ago. So I thought, well, I'm going to do a letter and update everybody and see if anybody has questions. Pam said I didn't even need to come, but I said, well, I'll see if anybody's got any questions. So nobody does. That's all I have. Anybody? Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Teresa. Thanks for all your hard work. Item number 6. Oops, I'm sorry. Oh, I was going to get rid of you, Kara.
I promise. My name is Kira. I'm the executive director of Main Street Keokuk. I'm just here also to provide some updates. On Monday, we launched our Hometown Heroes banner program. I think I talked about that just briefly the last time I was here. And so anyone in Keokuk or those who have ties to Keokuk can purchase a banner to honor their loved one who has served in the military. It is for active duty, retired, deceased, and honorably discharged veterans, service folks who have ties to Keokuk. So we're really excited about that. There is a lot of information about the program on our website. There's a tab right at the top that says Hometown Heroes. Excuse me. So you can go to mainstreetkeokuk.com to learn more about that. give me a call at the office. Happy to talk about it in more detail. Also want to give a plug for putting on the Glitz. 2 weeks from tomorrow is downtown's biggest night out. For the second year in a row, I am very proud to say we have over 30 participating businesses. There will be hundreds and hundreds of people out on Main Street, and it is something to see. So please, please make it a point to come out, do a little shopping, and just experience what downtown has to offer. It's really a wonderful time. That's all I got. I'll be back soon with more. Thanks.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, item number 6, consent agenda. Minutes of the regular city council meeting and council workshop of November 3rd, 2022. Minutes of the Civil Service Committee meeting of October 26, 2022. Certified list for the fire department promotional examination conducted on October 7th, 2022. And a motion to pay bills and transfers listed in registers number 5307 through 5309. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda, including the consent agenda?
Prior to that motion being made, Madam Mayor, we need to remove item number 13 from the agenda. So they can make a motion to approve the consent agenda and amended and regular agenda as amended.
Okay, so let's go with, do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
So move.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Now we need a motion to approve the amended.
So move.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item number 7. Now is the time and place for a public hearing on the implementation of franchise fees on electric utility services. A public hearing notice was published on Wednesday, November 9th, 2022. I am opening the public hearing at 5:39 p.m.
On August 6th, the City Council passed the revenue purpose statement and set a public hearing for August 20th. The revenue purpose statement and public hearing notice were to be published in accordance with Iowa Code. However, the RPS was inadvertently left out of the publication. The city is required to republish the RPS and hold a new public hearing. A revised ordinance setting the franchise at 3% for all users with a rebate of 1.5% for tax exempt users is now being proposed. We were advised by legal counsel, rather than amending the ordinance at the second reading again, the ordinance should start at the first reading. This will push the effective date of the franchise fee to February 1, 2023, and Alliant has agreed to waive the January 1st start date.
Any comments here?
Hi, I'm Miranda Goings, Plant Controller at Amstead Rail. So we do appreciate you guys looking at this again, and the 3% with the rebates. I did have a concern with us turning in our invoices every time, and that being public information. That's a little bit concerning for us. I mean, would it be possible to do something like self-report with an audit annually or something like that? I mean, we'd be happy to show our invoices to somebody who wanted to audit that process, but just turning our invoices over each month was a little concerning.
That's something I'll have to look into. What it is I basically copied the policy from the city of Dubuque, and that's how they had it written. I'll see if they have any different measures for anybody that doesn't want to turn in their invoices or their electric bills. But I do know that if you turn them into us, that I can check, but I'm pretty sure, I'll say 99% sure that they become public documents. So.
Right. And then has there been any consideration to locking in a franchise fee? I know we talked about it last year when this was being put into place, about locking it in for X number of years. I know a gas franchise fee has been discussed. Like, is that going to be on the table if this isn't enough?
The gas franchise fee has already been passed at 2%. And that began as of January 1 as well.
Okay,
That one was locked in.
Yeah,
For 5
right.
years.
okay.
So I would say, my opinion, I would be good locking in the electric rate once we finally get this hammered out. I know, looking back at what the council did previously, they didn't lock in at that time because it was all in flux with figuring the industry versus everything else out. So once we've got that figured out, I don't have a problem with locking it in for a set amount of years.
I was going to say, Fort Madison, they had pulled a meeting together of their city department chairs and then a small representation of the city council to meet with their industry leaders. And that conversation went two ways in a certain aspect as to what was that impact on that industry, but also what was the city doing and looking at their budget for also looking at their budget as well. Also, I think it's important that we sit down and have that conversation just so we can understand a little bit better each other, but also have that relationship and then build that trust, hopefully. I think over the last year, there's been a lot of different things going on, and I don't know if anyone's reached out to you to meet with you other than the initial time, but I would be more than happy to sit with some other city council members to really hear about what our industries have to say about the long-term side of this, as well as figure out what's a plan for a future.
We would definitely participate in something like that. Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? City Clerk, any written comments or objections, have they been received? There being no further comments or objections on this matter, I will close the public hearing at 5:43 PM. 7B, motion to approve the initial reading of an ordinance amending the Code of Ordinances of the City of Keokuk, Iowa by modifying provisions of Ordinance Number 2018, the City of Keokuk electric franchise relating to the franchise fees. Do I have a motion to approve?
So move.
If the council would want to amend the ordinance to set to lock in that franchise fee for a certain date or a certain amount of time, you can do it now. The gas franchise is locked in for 5 years from January 1 of this year. So it wouldn't be until January 2020, either 2027 or 2028, however 5 years works out, that we could modify the gas franchise. Staff would recommend that if you wanted to do that, to put it at either 4 years to coincide with the gas franchise, or put it at 5 years, which would make it 1 year past what the gas franchise would then be allowed for a change.
The general fund committee had discussed a lock and had decided no at the time that we had put forth our proposal. And after speaking with other cities, I would say no.
It makes me concerned, though, that if we're not providing them the ability to project out what expected costs are, that could impact their ability to feel that reinvesting in an area or putting a plant on a growth path like Roquette has could be impacted.
I would have to say that, and I was on that committee that you was talking about. And with everything that's happened in the last 12 months with our town, with our city, with our industries, with businesses and stuff, I think I would be okay with a 5-year lock-in, and then we can see where we're at then, but I think we need to protect what we got.
Mhm. I think, we've had industry request that lock-in, and like Shelley mentioned, that could go away in maintaining trust that we have both ways with all the entities. My opinion would be to sync it with the gas. So to do the 4 years so that those both expire at the same time, and then we can take care of them both again at the same time.
Would anyone care to make a motion to amend?
We have a motion to amend.
I'll make a
Yes.
motion to amend that we lock this in for a 4-year time span to be able to line it up with the utility, with the gas utility.
I'll second that.
Do we have any discussion?
I do have a clarifying question. I just want to make sure that when we would go back to review this, what does that timeline look like?
Certainly.
So that industries have an understanding what the timeline would look like.
Correct. So we'll give them what we'll do is at the next meeting, we will, or before then, I will send out something to all the council members, and I have Miranda's email, and then the language will mirror what's in the current gas franchise. So then they know exactly when that end date is.
So within process though for review, would that not go on in the budget year? in
Correct.
The
Well,
budget
we'll-
council that year?
We will review it every year,
Yes.
going forward as to where the revenues are and where the general fund stands.
But then I would say is as though that when we would be considering changing that, we would be doing that in the January of the year before.
We actually would start the process in July, the year before we would change it.
Okay, just want to make sure.
Is it,
Because we have to give both Liberty and Alliant a 6-month notice prior to making a change in the franchise fee amount.
Okay,
I believe Fort Madison locked in for 10 years, I think, and I don't know if they're regretting it. I know a few with the city have concerns with it now, and I'm opposed to going out that far, but like you say, Shelley, I think we probably ought to do a little something.
I think that it goes a long ways just to have a start at least for the,
Sure.
understanding. So I make that motion, as I said before, with a lock-in for 4 years.
We have a first and a second, and any more discussion? So we need a roll call. We need a roll call.
Roll call is on the amendment,
On the
yes.
amendment.
Crenshaw,
Aye.
Waltide, Garcia. Altman,
Aye.
Hellenthal,
Aye.
Tillman,
No.
Bryant,
Aye.
Greenwald,
Aye.
6 yes, 2 no.
So now we're back to the original motion, and is now approving the ordinance as amended.
And we had a first and second.
We've had a first and a second, yes.
Any more discussion? And we'll need a roll call on that.
Crenshaw,
No.
Alttide,
Aye.
Garcia. Altman,
No.
Hellenthal,
Aye.
Andrews, or Tillman,
Aye.
Bryant,
Aye.
Greenwald,
Aye.
7 yes, or 6 yes, 2 no.
Okay, so item number 8, motion to approve the second reading of the ordinance repealing section 20.60.0306 fences and adopting a new section 20.60.0306 fences. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
The only discussion I have is I see that there's an error in, I have, after H, I have K, and it should be I, and that's definition of yards. It's just,
Any more discussion?
Has anybody had any comments from the public on this particular one?
On the fence?
yeah, I received a phone call today from Mr. Stanley just asking if he could put his fence up, and so I just told him we would have to wait to see what the council does.
Okay, so we'll need a roll call on that too.
Crenshaw,
Aye.
Alttide,
Aye.
Garcia,
Aye.
Altman,
Aye.
Lowenthal,
Aye.
Tillman,
Aye.
Bryant,
Aye.
Greenwald,
Aye.
Okay. Do I have a motion to waive the third reading of this ordinance?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? I'll need a roll call on that.
Crenshaw,
Aye.
Altai,
Aye.
Garcia,
Aye.
Altman,
Aye.
Lowenthal,
Aye.
Tillman,
Aye.
Bryant,
Aye.
Greenwald,
Aye.
And now I need a motion to adopt and give final approval to this ordinance.
Second.
Any discussion? Another roll call.
Crenshaw,
Aye.
Altai,
Aye.
Garcia,
Aye.
Altman,
Aye.
Lowenthal,
Aye.
Tillman,
Aye.
Bryant,
Aye.
Greenwald,
Aye.
Okay, item number 9, motion to approve initial reading of an ordinance establishing a vacant property registry code. Do I have a motion to approve?
Second.
Any discussion?
Dilapidated, vacant, and abandoned properties can have a corrosive effect on local communities, lowering property values, attracting criminal activity, creating health and safety hazards, and adding extra cost on the city. The negative impact these properties create can last for years. By enacting the vacant property registration ordinance, this will require owners to register their property, pay a fee that will escalate the longer the property remains vacant, and hopefully create a disincentive for these owners to let the properties continue to deteriorate. The vacant property registry will eventually accomplish an end result of returning vacant properties to a productive reuse or demolishing the structures to rid a neighborhood of blighted conditions. There has been a couple changes that I did make. Those were on mainly the insurance. The insurance, we're wanting proof of insurance coverage for properties, including the following minimum amounts: $300,000 in general liability, property insurance coverage that covers damage and/or loss of all structures totaling 2 times the assessed value, with a minimum of $30,000 for residential properties and $75,000 for commercial industrial, or if uninsurable, the property owner shall secure by file a financial security instrument in the form of an escrow account, bank letter, or credit, or other equally acceptable financial instrument as determined by the city administrator. The amount of the financial security instrument shall be equal to 2 times the current assessed value, with a minimum coverage of $30,000 for residential property and $75,000 for commercial property. The only other thing that we changed on this is we do not have an uninsured property fee. We will just go ahead and file for municipal infraction.
Any more discussion?
I've had a few people that have told me that they're excited about this moving forward and that they support it, especially because there was just recently a tax sale, if you did not know, and there's been several properties that have been purchased by outside entities that are, they're not taking care of them, and they're putting them on realty.com to sell them for a much higher price, which we all know they're not worth. So just think this will help us with some of those issues as well.
Okay, so we have a first and a second. We'll need a roll call.
Crenshaw,
Aye.
Altai,
Aye.
Garcia,
Aye.
Altman,
Aye.
Lowenthal,
Aye.
Tillman,
Aye.
Bryant,
Aye.
Greenwald,
Aye.
Do I have a motion to waive the second and third reading of this ordinance?
We'll move.
Second.
Any discussion?
I will have the resolution for fees on the next agenda.
I would be hesitant to skip the second and third readings on this just due to the timeline of getting it out in the public and getting more opportunity for,
I agree.
and supposedly maybe even, because I know in speaking with Cole, Shelley just made me think of something. You had mentioned that if someone was selling their home and they moved out and it was listed with a real estate agent, it wouldn't be considered vacant. Does that create a loophole for what Shelley just mentioned? If they list those properties on realtor.com?
Well, they also have to have the utilities on.
Well,
And
not per se on the, if you're selling the vehicle, the house, but it will only go for 6 months. And then you're no longer in that exemption.
And it doesn't change the fact that they still have to have it already secured and all the other issues that they already have to have in
Correct.
place.
Correct. I do agree with you though, as far as I would prefer not to waive the second and third, just so people can come in and discuss it if they wish. But that's totally up to the city council.
Any more discussion? We'll need a roll call.
Crenshaw,
Aye.
Altide,
Aye.
Garcia,
No.
Altman,
Aye.
Hohenthal,
No.
Tillman,
Aye.
Bryant,
You to vote against my second, but no.
Greenwald,
No.
what's the total?
4 noes and 4 yeses.
It needs a supermajority in
Of
the vacant
6.
county.
Yeah, it would need 6 to pass, so the second and third readings are not waived.
Okay. Item number 10, consider resolution approving street financing report for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2022.
So move.
The city receives road use tax funds from the state of Iowa. Funds are intended to be used for street operations and maintenance. To ensure the funds are spent on permitted uses, the city is required to file an annual street financing report. The report must be approved by resolution and signed by the mayor and clerk. The report is due to the Iowa DOT by December 1st. Any questions on the report anybody had?
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed? Item number 11, consider resolution approving confidential settlement and released road maintenance agreement with ITC Midwest LLC. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
In December 2021, an agreement was signed with ITC Midwest LLC, where the company would make repairs to Hazelhurst Street if the road surface was damaged due to the pole installation project. ITC has obtained pricing for an overlay of the road surface from W.L. Miller. Due to schedule conflicts, W.L. Miller cannot complete the overlay until spring 2023. The settlement and release would allow ITC to pay for the repairs now. W.L. Miller will honor the pricing of $64,790 for the project until the spring. Once we receive the check from ITC, we will have the mayor sign the agreement with W.L. Miller, locking in that price.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed? Item number 12, consider resolution approving the 2021-2022 annual finance report. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Any discussion?
The report is complete and all items balanced.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, we're skipping 13, we're going to item number 14. Motion to approve release and settlement.
So moved.
Second.
ICAP, Iowa Casualty and Insurance, I'm not exactly sure of the entire acronym, but ICAP is with our insurance company. through our attorney, has reached a settlement with Logan Land regarding his civil suit against the city and Officer Walden. The settlement amount is $30,940. The city will be responsible for $3,000 in deductible, with ICAP paying the remainder. If the city council does not approve the settlement and chooses to continue through the legal system, ICAP will only contribute the settlement amount to the remainder of the suit, and they will stop paying legal fees. So if we move forward, we're responsible for all legal fees and any settlement or any award above the $30,940.
Doesn't sound like we got a choice.
Generally, no.
Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed? Item number 15, boards and commissions.
We only have one final notification. That's Amanda Rogers for the Rand Park Pavilion Commission, term to expire 10/22/23.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item number 16, council liaison reports. Item number 17, staff reports.
Tom, go ahead, Tom.
We just finished up doing our industry inspection for pretreatment, and that went really well. Everybody was very cooperative, and everybody wants the same goal. That's to cooperate and have clean water go into the river. That went really well. Also, we are going to be accepting formal bids for the cleaning of the digester. That's going to be in tomorrow's paper, notification for that. And I think we're going to take them for, well, up until, I think December 3rd, possibly. It's when it's going to close down. So we'll just start from the beginning and do that.
Community Health Centers has provided plans. They're planning on constructing a medical clinic in the 1600 block, and it'd be an addition to their dental clinic. On the next agenda, I will be setting a public hearing. They're asking for the remainder of the alley to be vacated in that. I think it's 150 feet. A portion of it would go to Subway. The other portion would go to Community Health if it's approved.
My report, we now have 3 applications for the Public Works Director, and the deadline for the application is December 2nd. And we now have 4 applications for Police Chief, with the deadline being tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Budget staff is preparing for the fiscal year 22-23 budget process, or actually 23-24 process that would, we would like to set council budget review dates. It was expressed to staff that having 2 meetings to cover all departments does not provide the council with sufficient time to process the information. It was suggested that the budget sessions be held on several Saturday mornings. Staff is requesting council provide a definitive answer on when to hold the budget session so we can start planning the schedule. What is your preference?
Saturday mornings.
What month would this be taking place?
This would be probably the last 2 or 3 weekends of January, and maybe 1 or 2 weekends in February, depending on how we space out the number of departments.
I would be in favor of holding it over the several sessions on the weekends.
And we would they would be Saturday mornings, 8 to noon.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not holding you past that time, so. Right. Yeah, I'll get you, we'll get the dates out as part of the budget calendar now that we have that set. Bob, how'd the City of Christmas done? Are they ready? No, if they're, okay, so what it is, the City of Christmas has, because we don't have the prisoners that help set up anymore, they're struggling to get the all of the displays set up. So if anybody has time to volunteer, I'm assuming they're going to be out there this weekend because they are opening next week. So if anybody has the time and ability, get a hold of me and I'll get you the time that you need to be out there so that they can finish setting up City of Christmas. It should be noted that Quincy is not running their drive-through light display this year. So I fully expect additional patrons to go through our display. I expect that many of them hopefully will come up and spend some time and money at our businesses. So if we can get out there and get that all set up and make it a wonderful display, maybe we can keep them coming back every year instead of going to what more closer to them and make it a real wow factor. So and the last thing I have is I do need to speak to the Finance Committee after this meeting to try to set a date since somebody who will not remain nameless blew off the last meeting. And we need to set it again. So that's all I have.
Cole, can you give us an update on the cleanup out at ADM?
The last report I had was that they were struggling to meet the cleanup date of October 31st. I do know that everybody that they had on staff until the November 1st are gone. That does not mean that the contractor may not be out there. Tom may have a better update.
Yeah, the plant manager, it sounded like he's about the only one still there. He said that they have taken care of, I'm guessing, probably 98% of sludge and everything that was waste out there. That's what it sounded like. As far as I could tell, they're pretty much all done.
They did have a delay in October, I believe, October or end of September, where they had to wait for crops to come out in order to keep land applying. And when they were transporting it to another treatment facility, they were running out of places to take it as well. So, but sounds like they're almost finished.
Something else that kind of surprised me, we were having the conversation and he just threw in the phrase that they are still looking to sell, and that there was some potential there. And I don't know if there was expressed interest, but I want to say that he thought there were two interested parties. I hadn't heard anything about that. I don't know if anyone else has or not, but that's somewhat encouraging.
I know they still had some employees out there until the 15th of this month. I believe they're all gone now, other than maybe him, but
That's
I knew they
probably
were
right.
still trying to get the last of the digester done and was actually inside it cleaning, so I figured it's probably getting pretty close.
Okay, yeah. And I think it was either yesterday or the day before when he called.
Okay.
Item number 18, new business. Item number 19, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Take 5 minutes, guys, and we'll come back and do the workshop. I gotta find my.
It's terrible.
Okay. Going to call to order the City Council of Keokuk Workshop, November 17th, 2022. We only have 2 items up for discussion. The first one is discussion on splash pad fence.
And the person that was going to present tonight called and said that they were ill and they will be here next week. So we'll go on to item 2.
Okay, item number 2, discussion on ITC project truck route.
Correct. So at the last meeting, 2 routes were presented, 2 possible routes were presented. One going down 17th Street off of Main to River Road and then down to the project. And the other one going up 13th onto Grand onto River Road. Each has their pros and cons, which I have in front of you. But current staff went out and looked at both of those routes, and they have a lot of concerns. So the pros that we have for each route is 17th Street is a straight shot. There's no additional, no extra turns until you get to River Road. There is some problems with the turn there because there's the hill and they're obscured to one side. So there's a potential there for some conflict. Current conditions of 17th Street is such that damage by the trucks would not be to keep the road in good condition. We're going to have to send out road crews to do some patching during that time in order to keep residential traffic from potholes and other things. Traffic on 17th will conflict with Torrance School pickup and drop off, which is actually a con rather than a pro. 13th Street is in better condition, which would mean less maintenance by city crews during the project. Grand Avenue would be able to withstand the heavy traffic. 13th Street has a controlled intersection at Main Street for both inbound and outbound traffic. And I was asked to find out which direction the trucks would be coming from. ITC responded that they could be coming from both directions. They could be coming from Missouri, they could be coming from Illinois, they'd be coming from within Iowa and back out. So, 13th Street would work better as a controlled intersection. 13th Street is wider than 17th Street. Cons, outbound traffic on 17th would need to turn onto Blondeau, then 18th in order to get to a controlled intersection. And that turn could be tight, though the body shop there said that they could easily move the cars that they park on Blondeau in order to better facilitate turning traffic. City crews will more likely need to perform some maintenance on 17th during periods such as road surfacing is expected to deteriorate significantly. The turn on 13th onto Grand and Grand to 13th will need to have a clear zone, so we'd have to put up some no parking during, basically probably 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. or something like that, so that they can keep that area clear. Neither route is ideal for truck and trailer traffic. In order to take, you're taking heavy trucks through residential sections, and there's potential for conflict. We do have the option of having everything come down Airport Road to River Road to the project. The reason why that was not suggested at the last meeting is because we are still moving forward with the Prices Creek resurfacing. We can delay that project. I spoke with the engineers. They said as far as their costs, there would not be any additional costs for the engineers. However, they cannot guarantee that prices for the actual construction will not go up, and they can't estimate the prices. As you know, lately, if you don't get you can get a bid from somebody, and they say if you don't agree to sign that within the next month, the price goes up by 30%. You know, that's the way things have been. Things may stabilize by next year. I can't predict that. So there is possibly additional costs to delaying the Prices Creek project. However, that would be the best route as far as avoiding residential areas and conflicting with residential traffic. I believe that River Road, we sealed it a couple years ago. I'm not sure if it's asphalt or seal coat all the way. However, as Robert pointed out at the last meeting, that no matter which route they go, this isn't an overlay project. This will be where they have to remove surface and put back an equal amount of surface so that it becomes a better road. The ITC is aware of that, though we will still have to have some negotiations no matter what route we place them on.
What's the rating on the bridge right there by the yacht club, the boat? B&H.
Oh, that
It's a
one.
small bridge right there,
Yeah.
and I don't know what the weight rating is on that one.
Okay, I'm glad you brought that up, because I asked the engineers about the Prices Creek, and they
Right.
believe that there would be some additional delamination, but that the weight load would not be detrimental to Prices Creek.
That might just be a big culvert, but that ought to be looked at as far as weight.
Yeah, I believe it's a culvert, but I will look at that.
One other thing on the cons, if we would go 13th, you've also Grand to Rand Park Terrace and then going around that would actually also be a little bit of a challenge depending on what size truck they're doing.
Right.
I just noticed, I mean, you got the turn 13th to Grand, but there's actually
But then,
two more.
yeah,
that would
there's
also potentially make it a little.
Correct. So that's the reason why it's a kind of a 13th Street is not a straight shot. So you have a couple of turns on it. Whereas with 17th, it's a straight shot out going into the project. Going out of the project, we do have them turn Bondo to 18th to have a controlled intersection. It was also mentioned that 18th Street, that intersection is on a hill. So having to come out with that hill and pushing it forward. So
Do you know
We would
how
need to
much-
make parking on just one side of 13th as well.
yeah,
And some of those houses don't have off-street parking.
correct.
I
Do you
was,
by chance know how much wider 13 is than 17th? I mean, are we talking a substantial? I was going to measure it actually this weekend. I forgot to get out. And do
Yeah,
that.
it is wider, and I can't tell you by how much. It might be half a car length or half a car width or a car
Well,
width.
it's not real substantial. I mean, they're both fairly 6 to 8 inch, 6 to 8 feet. I
Yeah.
was going to get out and measure it and I didn't get a chance to. So, okay.
but I have a question when it comes down to the River Road option. Is that something that you would just negotiate anyways into the ITC contract for making sure the road was put back to where it was?
Well, no matter what route we take.
That's what you would do. So I'm saying is though any costs that would be, raised because it's a year out that we look at extending it, it's that aspect that it's going to probably be folded into the ITC contract anyways.
Possibly, yes.
I mean, I would hope that it is.
I
And also, I think that you look at it is that if you're going to have construction project, you're going to have spaces where there can be staging. And on Schutz Road there, I mean, on the hill there and stuff, but you have that flat spot there where the yacht club is that allows for some space.
Right.
for
That's where
staging.
they're going to go no matter what the route is.
Exactly.
So,
So I was going to say on River Road and Airport Road to River Road, that way you're keeping it out of the residential areas, getting rid of the corners and the traffic. You're able to have ITC folded into them to pay for the repair of the road, no matter what it is. But also, if I was a construction person, I'd like to have a place to be able to stage that's fairly nearby, and that has that area with the yacht club and everything as well, so.
Well, it'll be easier for them to stage in that area because they're not having to turn into it.
Exactly.
They would have
Well, to be able to go in, they're going to straight shoot in because otherwise I don't know how they're going to turn. I mean, to be honest, going down from Rand Park, that's a angle of a crazy.
Well, I can't tell you how they would do it. If they're bringing in material, they're probably going to be backing in. And even if they're taking out material, they might be backing in.
But they have the staging space at the bottom of the hill. One of the things I was going to ask is that related to that, then would we have to be in contact with the Lee County roads because of having increased traffic?
Correct.
I would also say, my opinion would be the River Road option, simply because of keeping these trucks out of residential. I mean, we're talking about hundreds of dump trucks throughout a 4 to 6 month time frame, and it could be kind of scary having them go past a school, heaven forbid. So I like keeping it more out of sight and out of mind of the daily activities. It also is going to impact Main Street if they take one of those two options as well. I mean, that's going to be a lot of traffic there on Main Street too. So my preference, if it is feasible based on the concerns John brought up, would be River Road. And then also I would like to say, just for the citizens listening out there, that with this project, these poles that are going to go up are not going to be visible from the bluff at Rand Park. I know that question has been asked of me a couple of times since our last meeting. And so just to reiterate that, it's not going to do any damage to our beautiful view from the park.
The new poles will be slightly taller, but they will be in the same place as, if you look down the bluff now, you can see the wood poles. And so they'll be slightly taller, but they'll be in the same place.
The ZBA, I was on it when they reviewed the plan, and there was a lot of thought put into what actually was appropriate or not. And I think Aaron, was he there at this? Was Aaron around at that time, or was that, I can't remember who it was. So I think it was, but I mean, there was a lot of thought by the ZBA to put into what the aspect would be on the impact of the view.
In their scope of work, did they give you any kind of estimate about how many trips they'd have to make in and out of there?
Well, I think they estimated 200 to 300 trucks. I think that we believe that is slightly low.
Over what kind of a time period?
Well, without, they've got to, excavate some of that and remove material, which I'm sure is the first part of it. So I think they're going from April through September. And so I'm sure that in April, May, and June, that a lot of the trucks are going to be going out with fill. And then later on, whatever they have to do to bring in for compaction or something like that. And then they're putting in a retaining wall. That'll have to be transported in. And then they'll be bringing in the poles. And of course, any equipment necessary to excavate or to compact and to set the poles and the retaining wall.
Any of that material be able to be used down there?
I don't know. I don't know if they'll reuse some of that material in order to come back and compact where they need to, or if they're just going to excavate out. And then I'm sure they're going to have to bring in some road rock for compaction. They're not going to pave it, so they'll have to put down enough road rock to compact it to withstand the trucks that they bring in.
Are they going to be building a road to all of the poles?
Yeah.
They're going to be building a road to all the poles?
As far as I know, they're building a road down through there, and I've had experience on working on that hillside. So depending on what kind of spring we have, this project may run an extra 6 months. I don't know if they know what they're getting into on that retaining wall, which is a big benefit for the city. But once they start excavating that out, depending on what they get into, it may turn into 3 times the project they think, as far as building a retaining wall to get the road in there to be able to get into these poles.
Yeah, my curiosity though is if there's a road, are they going to be able to turn that into some sort of walking trail? Like, can people walk on it?
No, because I'm sure what it is that becomes like their easement and their property type of thing, or it's a public easement. I'm not sure if they will allow somebody down there. I don't know if we
We
would.
have a conversation about it.
We can have a conversation. I'm just throwing up caution that they may not want to have that done.
No, I understand that, but I'm just saying is from our perspective is what do we get out of this? And like, if there's an ability for people to be able to recreate there where, I mean, I know that there's been a plan, put a trail down there for years. It's on the last trails plan. But just saying is that that's an opportunity to have a discussion that we might get an asset out of something like this.
I'm just, like I said, I'm just throwing up caution that
No, I know, but I'm just saying we should probably approach them about it though, if we could. I mean, they can only say no.
I just don't want anybody to get their hopes up.
No, I mean, yeah, but doesn't hurt to ask. You can be really surprised what you might get.
I'm betting that they're gonna put up a gaping basket wall like you see on out River Road. I'm speculating that that's probably what they'll do. So with that in place, it may be something we could look at down the road to having a path that stays right above that,
Mhm.
where the hillside stabilized. I don't know if I'd bring it up quite yet, but it's worth a shot once they get into it and see what we can do.
Thing is with the utilities, they have requirements to meet with communities and things about different kinds of recreational things. And like, I think that, they might really actually go, hey, this is a way we can, angle this project in a way that it's seen as a community benefit as well. But I'm just putting it out there as to can't hurt to ask.
And it can't hurt to ask that they remove the existing poles. I know that out on Hazelhurst, I mean, there are other utilities on the poles that they have cut, but it would be nice if those utilities eventually get buried, that those poles are removed.
If the other utilities bury their services, then yes, those poles will be removed. But
They're required to.
they have, what it is the poles that are left are for those utilities.
Correct,
cable,
I understand
telephone,
that, but I do understand that a lot of those will be buried eventually. And, they're just hacked off and they look terrible. So I think that needs to be part of a discussion.
Yes.
Oh.
If those poles are now owned by those other utilities, and if they bury them, they're required to take the poles down.
Well, I was going to say, like when they did the Alliant project on Grand, they took all the pole, they're required, actually, the other utilities are required to bury their lines, and then Alliant removed all the poles that were left remaining that had no line on it, so. Yeah, no, I agree. Mm-hmm, I agree. Thank you, Pam.
I've spoke with them and doing dealings with them, and they said that if their poles are up and another utility wants to jump on them to string wires, they allow it. When they're done with their portion, they themselves don't force the other utility to get off the pole so they can pull them out. That bottom half does revert over to that other utility. So maybe it's something we, the city, can say, hey, look, we need to get these poles out. They don't look appealing to our town. And see if maybe we can put a little pressure on them. I don't know.
That many loads coming in and out of town be very disruptive. And looking at the county part of it, that's coming down a 2-lane road, but it'll only be during daylight hours. Is that correct?
Correct. They will not be working during the dark. So, that does increase the traffic on Airport Road and River Road from there into town. But I believe that the impact is less significant than the two routes that are all through residential sections.
Would it be better for the city if they came down Airport Road and River Road?
What's that? I'm not exactly sure where the line terminates. I don't know. Does it go to the power plant? At the powerhouse, yeah.
These lines are transmission lines from the powerhouse out of town. So they'll be starting basically there at the bottom of the hill at Rand Park and running down the river towards.
They did the one on Messenger.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I know I went by that every day because I work at Midwest, and it wasn't as disruptive as you think it is, I guess. You know, when they did have to pull a line across the street, and I know any route we pick, we're not gonna make somebody happy. Any route we pick is gonna cause disruption. I understand that. But like anything else, you know, if this is something we have to do, and so we have to pick a route that is gonna be the least liked, I guess. For me personally, after looking at all of it, I don't know. When you look at, because what I take from anybody that I've talked with is residents don't want this in their yard. They don't want this traffic by their house. They don't want this going on. And obviously, just like on Messenger Road, the poles are going to be on the opposite side of whatever side the water line goes down, because they're not going to drill the holes down and possibly hit a water line. So if I'm correct, if I remember right, on 17th, the fire hydrants are all on the residential side. Is that correct?
Right, but they're not setting poles on 17th. These poles are all down below the bluff along the river.
The poles are just there, then we're talking just traffic.
Yeah, all we're talking about is
See, I thought they were bringing
is
poles
for
down the
them to
road,
get
too.
to the project. No,
Oh.
they're not running any poles in town. All they're doing is getting, they have to take what came down.
They're joining what come
Messenger
from
and
Messenger then.
Hazelhurst.
Okay,
Yes.
I misunderstood that. All right.
So I will contact several different people here to get answers on the culvert. We'll call it a culvert down by the yacht club. Contact the county engineer to let him know that this is what we're looking at and what concerns he has. And then talk with ITC as to access for recreational opportunities along there.
Can you also put on there to talk to ITC about the removal of the poles?
I can, but again, what it is what I believe has happened is that they've turned those poles over to the other utilities.
Are there going to be remaining poles?
What's that?
Are there going to be poles that are part of this next scope of work?
The poles on phase 2 are all ITC. And so I'm assuming.
So there's nothing else on them?
There wouldn't be anything else on them but transmission lines.
Okay, that's what I was just asking.
Yeah.
Okay. Still doesn't hurt to ask.
Don't think they allow them on transmission lines.
Okay, anything else? If not, we can all go home. Meeting's adjourned.
Thank you.
Full beans.
I feel like they're like, it's like wanting to push me to.